Ladies and gentlemen, on screen now, the current governor of California, Gavin Newsom, who has successfully run the state not only into the ground, but now buried it miles beneath the surface of the earth over the last almost decade and a half that he's been governor. And he's picked a fight with Elon Musk. Not the first time a California official has gone after Musk. Remember that stupid wench who tweeted "fuck Elon Musk" when he spoke out against the futile, fascist, inhumane lockdowns during the scamdemic? Remember that? Seems like California officials have a history of giving Musk a double bird after all he's done for the state. Surely it couldn't possibly be politically motivated, right? Cue the latest episode in California officials trying to destroy the state. Is it any wonder people are leaving in droves?
Turning to Tesla, California Governor Gavin Newsom excluding Elon Musk's company from a proposal that would offer EV rebates to buyers if a federal subsidy is repealed. Newsom's office telling Bloomberg it's due to the plan's market share limitations. Musk calling the proposal insane in a post on X. Dan Ives of Wedbush saying this: with the majority of EVs sold in California being Teslas, this would be a risky political move in our view. Dan joins us for more. Dan, good morning.
Great to be here.
Do you agree it's insane?
Look, you had Jake Paul and Tyson. Now you got Newsom and Musk. I mean, this is going to be a battle, right? And ultimately, it's a political battle. But the only EVs that are made in California are Teslas. So if they actually go down this path, I believe this could be some threats where more and more jobs move from Fremont to
Texas.
Austin. But at the end of the day, federal tax, as we've talked about, that's going to get ripped away. That's bullish for Tesla. You're going to see this back and forth.
Before we get into that,
So I have many thoughts. First and foremost, I mean, this is just brain dead to even say out loud from Gavin Newsom here. To propose this is just crazy, right? It makes no sense. It's completely unreasonable. It's truly insane. It's utterly unfair. It's extremely corrupt. It's brazen. And think about the message this would send to potential businesses who want to manufacture goods in California when they see shit like this even being said out loud. Now, that being said, I personally don't believe Gavin Newsom, who is, by the way, a very slick psychopath, and I do mean that literally. I'm not just, that's not an insult. He's a psychopath, a very slick psychopath. By the way, if you can't see that, something's very broken with your radar. He's simply saying this to score points for a presidential campaign in 2028, in my opinion, because Elon is now public enemy number one. So Gavin is trying to set himself up to run for president 4 and a bit years from now by going after Elon bad. This is never going to get approved. It's absolutely fucking insane. But the fact that he's proposing this will score him some points with everybody who knows that Elon bad. Psychopath's gonna psychopath.
let's just dig into this relationship. What is behind it? We know what was behind it with Biden. What this basically came down to was union workers not being at Tesla in a way that they were at GM and Ford. What's this one about?
As I said, I mean, I don't know if Dan's going to either know or be willing to say it if he does know, but bro, 100% Newsom right now is trying to set himself up to be the primary nominee for the Democrats in the 2028 presidential election. I'm sure he's expecting to get a nice gold star for being a good little boy for just doing this, right? It's insane, it won't happen. But the very fact he proposed it shows his commitment to the one truth narrative, which is Elon bad.
Look, I think, first off, I mean, Musk was iced out of the Biden administration for years, right? It was really focused on Detroit in terms of GM, Ford, and others. If you look here, is that there's a beef clearly between Musk and Newsom. But essentially what this is really about is that you are going to have these tax credits from a federal perspective taken away. California clearly trying to do something to stop that. But the reality is that the money ran out on this program in California.
So Dan, this is important. The support at a federal level is clearly with Elon Musk. At a state level in places like California, it looks like because of this tension, he's losing it. How important is that relationship at both the state and federal level when it comes to things like autonomous driving?
State, we view it as much less than from a federal perspective, because the golden goose here is autonomous. You know, we believe the autonomous piece is worth $1 trillion alone to Tesla. Federal regulatory spiderweb essentially gets ripped away, and I think that's significant. Now, California, Newsom clearly will try to fight some of the autonomous, some of the unsupervised FSD, but this is going to be something that's really going to continue. But I believe Tesla is going to have significant sort of room to what I view as elevate themselves within autonomous. And that's really what I believe is the key to this Tesla story. It's about AI and autonomous. What Newsom's doing here when it comes to California, this is essentially almost a sideshow to the broader story here with Tesla, which is why it's really been a Cinderella story since Trump got in because of the Musk bet.
As I said, Newsom is trying to score points and a gold star for being a good little boy going after Elon bad to be the nominee in 2028. Dan does make a fair point. All this shit with Newsom, it is a sideshow. I noticed one of the anchors there laughing when Dan Ives described the Trump administration being a Cinderella story for Tesla. He's right, it is a Cinderella story. I'm not sure why she's laughing, the use of the term, or she disagrees with Dan's point.
But when it comes to autonomous driving and the federal regulations, it's not a light switch. This has to go through Congress. Elon Musk and his proximity to power cannot just basically get this over the finish line.
Of course, not in itself, but could move it significantly toward the finish line. So he gets it to the 2-yard line. Right now, it's at the 40-yard line. 50, midfield. So he can get to the 2-yard line, but that's also why with the red sweep and just relative to what we see with coming out of the Beltway, being there over the last week, we feel like there's a groundswell for autonomous. But no doubt when it comes to EVs.
You feel there's a groundswell in Congress as well?
I believe there's a groundswell. The reason I think there's a groundswell based on our view and what we hear is because of what's happened in China. Because China is now going so far ahead of the U.S. when it comes to autonomous because of the lack of really regulatory spiderweb. That's why Trump, you have an AI czar come in. But who's going to be, from an AI czar perspective, Musk is going to have a front row seat to really everything here. And that's why it continues to be the poker bet for the ages for Musk, betting on Trump.
So basically, and this sort of goes to the heart, in some ways, of the beef between Newsom and Musk, the idea that it's one thing to be transactional in your policies if you're in the White House and you're in Washington, D.C. It's another if you're sitting at the state. And the White House will probably trump that. There is just a question of how far that will go. Do you actually believe that there will be policies crafted specifically to benefit Tesla over some of the rivals in the United States because of Musk's closeness to the White House?
Yeah, I think, look, clearly, Tesla is in just a much different situation relative to autonomous. So they have the scale and scope on EVs. So you pull the tax credit, gives them a huge advantage just relative, to federal subsidies. But on autonomous, it's their world. Everyone else pays rent, along with Waymo. So when you look at this relative to other automakers, they're essentially almost going to have to license from Tesla. But
he just said it. Is this the very first time that Dan Ives has suggested licensing FSD from Tesla? I think it might be. And maybe I'm imagining. Has he said it before? Welcome to 2021, Dan, when I published my Tesla valuation model, which had FSD licensing. But hey, this might be the second analyst on Wall Street after Tom. Now Dan, potentially talking FSD licensing. And by the way, they're right.
And his relationship there, when it comes to AI, when it comes to autonomous EVs, that's why it comes down to Detroit. Musk, he wasn't at the cool kids table. Now there's a knock at the door. It's Elon. And I think that's really the issue right now that's starting to happen, is that everyone's starting to realize that this Musk-Trump alliance is going to continue in a lot of ways. Newsom's clearly trying to get into that, but I continue to believe that's probably going to be a battle he'll ultimately lose, because you continue going down that path, okay, more jobs go from Fremont to Austin. Oh, on second thought, maybe we won't exclude them.
So this is Tesla in California. You also cover GM. What's your reaction to the tariffs that have been threatened on Mexico, on Canada, given that we know that these automakers have quite a presence south of the border?
I mean, if you're Mary right now, Mary Barra, I mean, here it is. You have Musk that's going to be front row on Trump. Now you got these tariffs. I mean, you talk about heartburn from a GM perspective. Well, for a company right now, that's actually, I think it's some of the best execution that I've seen.
You've still got to outperform on the stock.
Because to me, if you look at execution, I still don't believe the stock is getting the right value relative.
Oh, God damn it, dude. Just when I thought, you know what, I agree with most of what Dan said here today, he just doesn't get it. Claiming GM are executing well. Bro, by the way, talk about karma. From Mary B. Esparra, colluding with the corrupt puppet posing as the president to steal Tesla's valor at the EV summit. Perfect opportunity when he's like, you did it, Mary, you electrified the whole industry. She just said, oh, well, thank you, I appreciate that. But actually, we've got to give credit to Tesla where it's due. She didn't do that. She's a piece of shit, terrible human. And now Trump and Musk are besties. My, how the tide has turned.
How exposed are they, though, to this tariff story? And if he goes through with it, can you still put an outperform on that stock?
They're exposed. We got to see how it all plays out. I continue to think that bark will be a little worse than the bite, in terms of as it all plays out. But for GM, for a company that's humming right now, it's kind of been a little 1-2 punch in that 313 area code.
Just wanted to wrap up today's video with one final piece of extreme political corruption. This, reposted by Vivek Ramaswamy, will be co-heading the Department of Government Efficiency with Elon Musk. Can't believe this news broke on the exact same day that Patrick Bateman over at California is trying to fuck Tesla with this. Anyway, let's not go down there. Biden is forking over $6.6 billion, that's a loan, good luck with it being repaid, to EV maker Rivian to build a Georgia plant they've already halted. One, quote, justification is the 7,500 jobs it creates, but that implies a cost of $880,000 per job, which is insane. This smells more like a political shot across the bow at Elon Musk and Tesla. Spoiler alert, it is. Now, look, Rivian are probably going bankrupt. But you know who doesn't care about lending money to a company that's going to go bankrupt? Somebody who's not spending their money but yours, taxpayer dollars. This is crazy. If Rivian wants to build a factory, they can go raise capital. That's how it works, okay? They don't need to suck from the teat of the Biden administration. There's no justification. Now, look, if it was 15 years ago, it'll be a different story, right? Because you want to incentivize EV production. There's no companies producing them at scale right now. So I can understand, right, you want to get the ball rolling. But now the ball is rolling. It's called Tesla. It's fucking steamrolling everything, to be honest. This is crazy. And odds of this loan being repaid are less than 50%. Odds of Rivian going bankrupt, more than 50%. Crazy. In short, in case you haven't got the message, Elon bad. Want more content? Early access? Bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 is awesome. I've been taking it daily now for more than 3 years. It's a great way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's packed full of vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients. Plus, has prebiotics, probiotics, and adaptogens to improve gut health, regularity, and help your body handle stress. I'm always looking for an edge to help me feel and perform my best, which is why I haven't missed a day of AG1 for more than 3 years. Just try it and see how you feel. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs. This is what viewers of the channel had to say after trying AG1. I feel like I have a lot more energy since I started on AG1. Just got my AG1 in the mail. Legit feeling the effects after day 3. 3 months ago, I started AG1 and have been enjoying the evenness of alertness and energy that lasts the day. I just started the wife on it too. Are you convinced yet? I mean, hey, it's worth trying, right? Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR, or I can keep going. This viewer, after about a month on AG1, definitely a lack of fatigue in the afternoon. Pleasant side effect is that my coffee intake has imploded and is almost down to 0. One more? Yeah, why not? I honestly feel younger and will be continuing to use AG1. This stuff really is crazy good. I didn't think it would be, but this stuff is awesome. It really is what everyone is saying. One more? Don't mind if I do. I've just received my 3rd month supply. I've drank it every day. I have so much energy throughout most of the day. I'm productive, started a new business, started socializing, refurbished a boat. It's no coincidence. Thank you for your persistence, your integrity, and your insights. Now look, these are not my words. These are not my testimonials. This is what you guys and girls are saying. Maybe it's 100% placebo effect. But even if that's the case, I think it's money well spent. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs.